Hello, BookTube. The Inconsistent Reader here with part 17, Perfect Teeth. As you see, I'm wearing the same outfit, but I at least changed my earrings. You like them? The caterpillars on a mushroom. Inspired by Alice in Wonderland. Okay, on to the story. Lydia worries that not only will no one read her writing, but she's also worried Gilead will still be here in 1,000 more years. And I quote, "But there are small mercies." She was about to watch a particulation through the CCTV in Commander Jed's office. He offered her some snooty coffee, and she wanted to question where he got it from because it was a black market item, but she refrained. Commander Jed put a little booze in his coffee and offered her some. She politely declined. Now, Anne Elizabeth is the one that was presiding over the particulation, which, if you don't remember what that is, do you remember how they killed Commander Fred? That's particulation. All the handmaids come together around them and just rip them apart with their bare hands and mouths and stuff. So 2 men were on the chopping block that day. An angel for smuggling lemons officially, but unofficially his real crime was helping handmaids escape. The second man, Dr. Grove. You see, Elizabeth had been very much into drama in college, so pretending to be almost violated by Dr. Grove was a breeze. Lydia, of course, still took some pictures of what really happened, in case she needed to use it against Elizabeth in the future. She's always thinking about the what-ifs. His assistant testified against him, adding some extra flair to it, knowing that Dr. Grove was pretty much fucked anyway. And I quote, "What could Grove say in his own defense?" Grove could hardly admit that he would never have laid a lecherous finger on Anne Elizabeth, since he was only aroused by underage girls. Grove was the second one to be punished, and this was so that he could watch the first one. And I quote, "He had to watch as the angel was kicked to death and then literally torn apart by 70 shrieking handmaids." Think about that. 70 women are kicking you and tearing you apart to the death. That's wild. Since it was an aunt's virtue that was almost ravaged, all the aunts and the Pearl girls and even the new Pearls attended this particular particulation. Lydia was watching all their faces, and she was trying to figure out what they thought about this ceremony. And I quote, "The pearl of the greatest price was among them." This, of course, being Nicole. So imagine that, Nicole comes into Gilead, and the second day she's there, she witnesses this crazy execution. Aunt Immortelle, or as we know her, Becca, was there. She fainted. Lydia expected as much from her. She was not only sensitive, but probably feeling guilty as well. Even though he did terrible things to her, he was still her father figure. And I quote, Commander Jed switched off the television and sighed. "Pity," he said. "He was a fine dentist." "Yes," I said, "but sins must not be overlooked simply because the sinner is skilled." "Was he really guilty?" "Yes," I said, "but not of that. He was a pedophile. He was ruining too many young girls for marriage. Rather than accepting wedlock, the precious flowers were deserting to the aunts." "Was that the case with the girl Agnes?" "I thought there must have been something like that." He wanted me to say yes, because then her aversion would not have been to him personally. "I can't be sure," I said. His face fell. "But I believe so." Lydia then tells Commander Jed that baby Nicole is now officially in Gilead. And not only is he impressed, but also a little envious, because after all, his eyes have been looking for years to no avail. Lydia tells him, and I quote, "And we women, myopic as we are, often notice the finer details that may escape the broader and loftier views of men." I love how she insults him while also complimenting him or whatever. So he asks her when they can present her to Gilead officially. And she tells him, well, she needs to make some time to prep her and make sure she will be a real convert. This is going to take care and tact, and I quote, "I will leave these matters in your capable hands," he said. "Are you sure you won't take a drop of rum in your coffee?" "Maybe a teaspoon," I said. He poured. We lifted our mugs, clinked them together. After the particulation, Aunt Elizabeth had a nervous collapse and was sent to convalesce at one of their retreat houses. All the founder aunts went to visit her. Lydia knew it wasn't the proceedings that had made her collapse. She'd seen these many times before. It was the lies she had to tell, the lies she had to keep. So Lydia tells Aunt Elizabeth, and I quote, "You are considered practically a saint at Ardua Hall." I'm sure that helped probably make her feel a little bit better, but we'll see how it goes with Aunt Elizabeth. And that's it. That's the end of section 17, Perfect Teeth. Next up is section 18. It's called The Reading Room, and it's starring Becca and Hannah, and this is when they first meet Jade, Nicole, baby Nicole. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode of The Testaments with me, the Inconsistent Reader, and as always, make good choices.